everyone, and welcome back to the Hallmarkies podcast. You have joined us for Chesapeake Chats, where we talk all things Chesapeake Shores. I'm your host, Carrie, and I have Anne with me today.
Hey, everybody.
I'm so glad you're here, Anne, because I know you've been looking forward to these episodes specifically for one person in particular.
Yes.
That's exciting.
I'm very excited.
Well, so what has been your thoughts on season 5 so far? We're only 3 episodes in, but what do you think?
I think it feels different. I think it feels fresh and like some, the new writer, show director, the change in the some of the casting. I think that it's really breathing some fresh air into this show that I personally really needed to keep watching and to be able to enjoy it. But I have enjoyed watching these last couple episodes. They're doing some different stuff, tackling some different things, and I think they're doing it well.
I do too. I totally agree with you. One thing I've noticed every episode, all 3 of the episodes so far, is the pacing has been really just great, in my opinion. It's kind of fast paced, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know if like they're just squeezing a lot in because we need
so many family members and so many,
right. And even there are some episodes that don't have certain cast members a part of the storyline, which we'll talk about. But I think the pace is fantastic, to the point where I'm surprised sometimes when it's the end of the show. I'm like, what? I can't believe it's already.
Or I'm like, wow, they covered so much ground in that time. Like so many things happened with so many people. It's like, wow.
Right.
But it didn't feel too rushed. It felt like, okay, we saw almost everybody and, something happened with them and we know where they are,
Exactly. I love that. So here on the Hallmarkies podcast, we are starting a bi-monthly coverage of season 5, Chesapeake Chats. And so we're going to talk about 2 episodes each time that you see us, twice a month. So let's just jump right into season 5, episode 2, which was called Nice Work If You Can Get It. And really, I thought this was a great episode. It was a huge episode for Abby.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah, it was.
I mean,
very big.
We got to talk about Trace first.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
I mean, they just closed up that storyline and packed him up, and he is gone. I mean, did you like how they handled this episode?
I honestly did. I think it was really smart, very smart, to do the flashbacks.
Yes.
And I think that they worked well. They kind of had her running or in bed, and then she would just think about what happened. That way, like, okay, she's been dealing with this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, her and Trace weren't actually together, I think, for the last season, but they are saying goodbye. So it's very difficult because they've been in each other's lives for years.
Yes.
But that she's somewhat separated from it and still thinking about it, but they're showing us. So I think it was a really good way to do it, but then be like, okay, well, we want to introduce somebody new and not have to wait so long. So we're going to do it this way, which I think is really smart.
I totally agree. I thought it was really, really smart. And in fact, I wondered, with all the rumors of Trace leaving the show, you kind of wonder, would he ever come back, visit the bridge, all of that. But then, I mean, that was answered real quick for me when the scene that he is selling his half of the bridge to Mick. He's selling it back. Mm-hmm. He's like cutting all ties, severing ties pretty much with Chesapeake Shores. And she's like, don't leave on account of me. And he's like, yeah, I was staying on account of you.
I was like, okay, the sass. All right. Yeah. I was like, wow, okay, we're in the middle of Sweet Sally's here and y'all are like going for the jugulars here. Okay.
I feel like I would go to Sally's just to get in on the fresh drama of the O'Brien family. Like just to see who I can see.
Like, how many other places are there? Because it seems like it's just Sally's.
It's just Sally's. That's the small town beauty of Chesapeake Shores, I
Yeah.
guess. It's just
It's the
so,
it's the town place.
yeah, exactly. Okay, yeah. So he sells his half of the bridge, and what I thought was kind of sweet was the whole family said goodbye to him at the bridge that one night.
Mhm. Yeah.
Everybody's there. They're celebrating something. I think Bree being home. Excuse me.
Mhm.
And and he comes in, and they all kind of say goodbye to him, which was, he's been in all of their lives for such a long time, and
Yeah. Yeah.
um, but he tries to leave, actually sneak out without saying goodbye. Really,
I know. Yeah.
yeah,
Goodbyes are very difficult, especially when it's like a final goodbye like he was pretty much doing. Like that
yeah,
is really hard. And
yeah,
not everybody can, deal with that well. I mean, I don't
yeah,
think I do it well either. So, yeah.
yeah. I know. I thought that was a good exit for him on the show
Mm.
to just kind of
Yeah.
leave, and they had a few more words
Yeah.
said that things needed to be said, all of that. And
Mhm.
then it does show her processing, like you
Yeah.
said, on the run. She's running and she's processing. She's almost crying at the end. And
Yeah.
and it really just felt like a really, I mean, done. It was done.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
let's move
They were
on.
like, we want to put this to bed in a good way and be like on the way to something else. And so
Totally.
they, however they thought about that, they killed it because they executed it well. And it feels
Yeah.
like, okay, it's over. And it feels like, okay, we're trying to move towards, trying
Yeah.
to get over this and leave it behind us.
Yeah. Which is actually, I think it's totally well done, because what we have come to expect from Abby and Trace is oh yeah, right. Yeah, right. They're not done. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
They'll get back together
Hmm.
soon. They'll end up together. But for us as fans to actually feel the finality of
Yeah.
it, really well done writing, really, really
Yeah.
executed.
Yeah. I
What
mean, I wasn't here for episode 1, but that episode 1 fight, that was, yeah. I think we all felt that. And I was like, okay, well, this is how they're going to do it. That makes sense because this feels final,
Yeah.
this feels intense.
Yes. Yes. Like, we're not coming back from this. So,
Hmm.
I mean, and that's it. It was so funny watching the third episode. My daughter was like, she was kind of popping in and out, and she was like, "Oh, has Trace? Have you seen Trace yet?" And I was like, "Honey, he's gone. He's not here anymore. Like, he was done." And she was like, "Oh wow, really? They really did that?" And I said, "Yeah. I mean, they, So she kind of didn't believe it,
Yeah.
but
It's going to be different. I
yeah,
mean, it is because he's been around this entire time.
yeah, yeah,
And so it's definitely going to be different.
yeah.
For me, I don't think that's a bad thing, but that's just a personal opinion.
Personally, I think I like where things are going, and so I'm really invested now in the show and where things are
Yes.
going, and I'm
Mhm.
happy to see things wrapped up so well, and
Yeah,
now I'm
me
looking
too.
forward.
Me too. I feel
Yeah.
exactly the same.
So, okay, so speaking of Abby, this being such a huge episode for her, we did the
Mhm.
whole Trace thing, the goodbye Trace. Well, now she really had a great episode coming into her own as a partner with her dad in the
Mhm.
business.
Yeah, she
That was
did.
kind of cool to see her kind of like season 1 Abby again, like wheeling and
Mhm.
dealing and like
Yeah, exactly, exactly. The business, yeah, the Abby's business side, and yeah, she's savvy, she's smart, and
smart.
it's good to see her,
Yeah,
using her skills.
yeah. And the way she talked to those two partners, challenged them on being longtime partners.
Yeah.
I thought she was just great, and she totally earned my
Yeah.
respect.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was like, yeah, like let's show all these like strong females. I was all about that.
I
That was
know,
good.
I know. That was a great moment for her. So
Yeah.
really kind of set her up for success with her dad's business, and
Yeah.
that was awesome.
That was really
So
good.
So yay, Abby. Good episode for her. Really strong one for her. Definitely still, would you say she is the main character?
I would say she is the main character, I think.
Hmm.
I think that a lot of stuff is, you know, she's the oldest daughter, and,
Mhm.
you know, a lot of people come to her for advice. You
Mhm.
know, we see more of her storylines,
Yeah.
or her storyline. So yeah, I think she is.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's good because I was wondering if they were gonna kind of make this more of an ensemble type of show after Trace left, but
I mean, I think they are. Like, I think that she has, I think, like a little bit more time than other people,
yeah.
but I do feel like it is like an ensemble. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah. We're
If that makes
invested.
sense. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. So the next person I want to talk about moving on to Bree because
Yes.
you and I specifically were so excited about her love triangle coming up
Mm-hmm.
with this
Yeah.
Jerome Trask, who was her high school nemesis, and then Luke
Mm-hmm.
Tatum, who was this high school crush. So we get a meet cute in this episode with both of these guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
How did that play out to you?
I really liked it. I really thought it was interesting how she had the meet cute with Jerome.
Mhm.
I guess Jerry now,
Jerry,
but I'm gonna call him Jerome probably the rest
I
of
know,
the time. But
Jerry.
I loved how he was just kind of like how she was like bringing all of this like high school baggage, and he was like, oh, I'm sorry about that, and then
Right,
he was just like trying to forget it, and then he could tell she was like holding on to it, you know.
it totally was.
Typical Brie fashion. And then she was just so Brie, and it was so funny. I enjoyed that.
I did too. I mean, she totally misread the situation in high school. Like
Yeah.
she thought he hated her. He thought she hated him. They both
Uh,
kind of felt like they were out of each other's league a little bit, and
yeah.
she totally misread it. Um, the only thing that I was disappointed in this storyline, so it so quickly answered the high school angst problem, when he like
Mm,
wrapped it up real quick and said, "Oh, I just didn't know, how to you were out of my league. I didn't know how to talk to you and stuff."
mm.
Like there wasn't a couple episodes of push and pull,
You would
kind of
like to see some of that feisty banter,
yeah,
kind of like,
yeah. Like
yeah.
the enemies, the enemies are back at it again.
Yeah, I do like that kind of thing. So I understand what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah,
They could have definitely done more, and I would have been like, okay, this is fun.
exactly. I think it was it you or was it Casey who made the observation that the things just come kind of easily for the O'Briens, like especially love
Mm.
interests and stuff. Like
Yeah, it might have been Casey. I don't think
it
I
might have
said
been
that.
Casey.
But yeah,
Apart
they do.
yeah, and apart from Trace and Abby, of course, that wasn't very easy, but
Yeah.
like it just kind of falls in their lap and stuff. And so I was
Mhm.
I was like, oh, that happened again here with Jerry, but I still think there's potential.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Mhm.
think so.
Yeah.
I think the guy who's playing him, I forgot his name.
Oh,
But
I
he's
did
doing
too,
a good
actually.
job.
Is Matthew Kevin Anderson.
Okay, Matthew Kevin Anderson. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's good. I like him.
I know he looks great. So, so we have this with Brie, kind of a peer thing,
Mm-hmm.
but now she runs into Luke Tatum
Mm-hmm.
at the thrift store or at the Goodwill or whatever Chesapeake Shore's equivalent is to that. She's donating things,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Kind of just casually walking by, but as the viewer, he's there to like pick things up. And
Yeah. And so
I
he's probably like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you didn't come here like a minute later,
I know,
because I would have been over here picking out stuff. I
oh,
was like, oh no, please don't let this happen. And I was like, whew, okay. Because I just knew how bad he was gonna feel, and he's a man and pride
yeah,
and all that. And so I was like, oh no, I don't want him to
I
have to
know.
deal with that. He seems like he has enough to deal with. So
Yes, it definitely did. I mean, he already had enough to deal with, and yet here it was kind of cool for him to run into Bree, who still kind of saw him with these, this had
yeah.
him on a pedestal, was
Yeah,
excited,
the crush
the crush.
eyes.
Exactly. And you could tell he kind of like stood up a little straighter. He
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
But I like that. And then It was interesting. What did I put? That he, quoted Robert Frost to her.
He
I did think it was kind of weird. Like Rachel said that was kind of weird. And then when I saw it, I was like, okay, this is a little bit weird. I don't know. It's kind of
he
interesting.
just like out of the blue
Yeah.
quotes this poet that she totally is like, oh, yeah,
Yeah. And I was just like, this seems a little bit strange. I don't know this character well enough, but it seems a little bit off.
it felt inauthentic. So we'll see if he kind of just does that now, or if that's really is who a part of,
Yeah.
who he is.
Yeah, exactly who he is.
But from what we know of him so far, what we're trying to piece together here in season 5, uh, that was kind of out of the blue.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. For sure. Now there's potential there too. I definitely like this guy. I think Kevin offered him a job at the bridge
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
potentially, like go and see.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean we know already because of promo shots and stuff that that's going to happen.
Yeah.
That could be good.
That could be good. I would, because they kind of need, well, I mean, Mick has the bridge connection, but he's working with Abby, so they were going to show that. So we kind
Yeah,
of need, if they're going to keep showing it, another bridge connection. And I think this is a good way
I do
to
too.
have it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point because it's mix now. The whole
Yeah.
thing is mix.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's talk about Jess and David.
Yes.
Bless her heart.
Oh, they're having a hard time.
What did you think about their storyline with this prenup?
I was just like, this is such a Peck thing, to do, to just pretend to be like, everything's fine. We're okay
Yeah,
with everything. And then just stealthily leave a prenup in your room and not tell your son. Just
right.
leave it for your future daughter-in-law in her room. And I was just like, if that happened to me, I would just be like looking around like, is there cameras in here? Like, is this like a joke? Like, how could like nobody talk to me about this? They just leave it here?
Yeah, totally. So the whole
Crazy.
episode, she like can't get it out. She can't
She
spit it out
can't. Yeah.
to David that like this happened. Your parents left me this, and what do I do
I
about
know. Yeah. She
it?
came up with a couple things to say instead, I think two, and then she finally. Yeah.
Finally,
But I know that it's, they've kind of shown that, conflict and things like that are really
Mhm.
hard for Jess.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah. Which knowing that about her, I was so glad. I'm always so glad when she does the mature thing, and she
Yeah.
did bring it up and say, "I have to tell you this. Your parents left me a prenup," and he was like, "That's so like them." He just understood right away.
Yeah. I appreciated that
Me
he
too.
wasn't like, how could you not tell me? Because I think he knows Jess. I think he probably knows she struggles with that,
Yeah.
and he was just like,
Mhm.
that's so them. And,
Yeah.
thanks for
Yeah.
telling me about it.
Yeah. And he said he didn't want her to sign. He was like,
Yeah.
"No way, you do not need to sign." They had that cute interaction about, if anything, you should sign one. I have a thriving business.
Yeah, that was funny. I like that. We know when we met, I was the inn
Right.
owner and you were just,
You were a waiter at
yeah.
so cute. Okay, so do you think he implied that he threw it into the campfire? Or he said like, "Oh, I took care of it." And she was like, "You did?"
Yeah.
And
Yeah, he did say that. What did he say?
I thought he like burned it in the campfire, but then they just kind of like moved on from then. So I was like,
Yeah, I thought he did say something about destroying it. I really think he did say that because he was like,
Yes,
"Oh yeah, I found it earlier,
yeah,
today. Thanks for telling me." And he's like, "Oh, I blah blah blah." I forgot what he said, but I think he did destroy it or
he
say
did.
something about it.
He totally destroyed it. And then, but then she did tell him that there was this piece of jewelry,
Yeah,
probably
bracelet.
fake,
Yeah,
Mom gave me that too. He's like,
and
"Oh no,
he's like,
that's real."
"Oh no, that was like my grandmother's, and it's real." And she's like
Yeah.
freaking out in like typical Jess fashion, running across. Oh my gosh, and like running across the yard.
Yes. So they were cute. They continue to be super cute to me.
Yes, I love them. I really do like them. I like the the bright spot they bring, or that they have brought. Now there
Yes.
seems to be more brightness, but
Yeah.
I do just like them a lot.
Yeah. Which we're all set up for a mid-season wedding, which will be
Yeah.
exciting. So a couple more episodes until a wedding. We don't have to wait till the
Yeah,
finale.
I thought we were gonna have to wait. So I'm excited. That's only a few more episodes.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so absent from this episode was Connor. Connor wasn't there.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Mm-mm.
Which was
Absent from
he.
this, I mean, he's busy working, but no Sarah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No
Yeah,
Sarah.
that's true.
And I don't not much Megan, if I remember right. She
Yeah. I don't think there was a lot of her. I don't
no,
remember a lot of her in the second one.
not yeah, not Megan, not Nell, of course. And Kevin, I just think Kevin does such a great job at bopping around, actually showing up where, a sibling needs him or someone needs him. Like he just right there at the end
Yeah.
had
That
that.
was sweet. I like that.
I did too. He had such a precious scene with Abby after her run.
Yeah.
I don't know what he said. He said something like, you can't heal if you go back to what broke you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I thought that
That
was,
was really good.
yeah, very, very interesting. So, Kevin, such a good guy.
Yeah.
Really
A good
supportive.
brother.
Yeah.
He
All
was like,
right.
yep, this seat's yours.
Yeah.
That was sweet.
That was episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely remember 2 weeks ago. I liked it. I was excited about the, where they went with certain things. And, of course, that just set us right up for episode 3 because we did not meet someone that we really wanted to meet in episode 2. We didn't meet
Yes.
them. We had to say goodbye to Trace. And so now with
We're already off to the races here.
off to the races.
We'd like to take a second from this episode of the podcast to celebrate our sponsor of this episode, and that is the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast?
Do you want an inside scoop into what happens on the podcast?
Do you want early access to episodes and loads of cool perks?
Now is the time to become a patron of Hallmarkies Podcast.
By becoming a patron, you get to access our patron Facebook group.
You can request episodes or even be a guest on the podcast.
And most importantly, any patron can join our monthly movie watch-alongs with stars like Paul Campbell, Natalie Hall, and more.
It's as low as $2 a month to join in and become a special part of the Hallmarkies family.
Please consider, and we will love you forever.
Go to patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies. This episode 3 is called Are the Stars Out Tonight? And we were already warned that this was a big episode.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What did someone say that we saw online? They said it was the best episode.
They said it was one of the best of this season. That's what Fief Sutton, I think that's how you say it. That's what he tweeted. Check this episode out. It's one of the best of the whole season. So, and there was a lot of stuff and a lot of moments packed into this episode.
So many.
I'm just like, wow.
I know. Okay, so impression. I mean, let's go jump right into Robert Buckley here.
Yes. I just love him.
I know we finally meet Evan Kincaid. What did you think of this whole character?
Oh my gosh. You know what? It's just so great because Robert Buckley is like I'm about to cry. I don't know why. Robert Buckley is he's just so perfect for this character. I mean, he's just such a very positive person, and he's like a person who's like in real life who like does humor really well.
Yeah.
And I just love the way that Evan is like kind of scatterbrained and kind of like I just don't really know. Like, now you're telling me this, and I don't really know if I want this. Like, he's just like just like all over the place. And he's like,
Yes.
oh yeah, well, I'll just come to you guys, my private plane or whatever. I'm gonna go to DC anyway. Like, I'm
Yes.
just like, you just don't know what he's gonna say. And he's on
No.
the hoverboard. Then he's like, I'm bored of it. Like, you just take it. It's probably like cost $3,000. He doesn't care. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, you are like, he is kind of annoying. And it's like only because Robert does it so well that's like still kind of like charming, even though he is annoying.
Yes.
I don't know. I just like just the kind of very different kind of
Yeah.
character that he is,
Yeah.
and the way that he's bringing that into the show.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, right away he does. Right away he brings this energy, and he brings like this scatterbrained billionaire, like this means everything to Abby and Mick and their business.
Yeah.
The Kincaid project means everything to them. And he's just like, I don't want to do it anymore. And they're like,
Yeah.
whoa, wait.
Wait, we need you. You need to come to this beautiful place.
Yeah. So he is just like this. He's untethered. Like, he needs someone to like bring him back down to earth and, kind of
Yes.
care about something. So it's really kind of neat to see him enter the O'Brien world here.
Yeah.
I liked him
He's
a lot.
everywhere.
I loved his line when he said, oh, how's the fishing here? And they said, it's great. Some of the best in the country, And he was like, oh, great. I've never tried it. Never tried fishing, but I want to try it someday.
Yeah. I'm just like, what? Yeah, that was funny. And then he's like calling them, and he's like rock climbing.
Yeah.
Then, I loved that, like, he was like, oh, I'm playing golf. And Abby's like, yeah, so I thought about golf. And then I thought about the last place I'd go. And then I came here and found you playing mini golf, a billionaire playing mini golf. And that was just so funny to me. I was just like, because I personally love mini golf, but
Yeah.
he's like a 30-something billionaire man, and so he's not really supposed to be
interest.
doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. You just see like he's this man child who, he just wants, he's so playful. And I liked the insight at the end that he gave to kind of just his life. Everyone wants to please a billionaire. People want me to like them, to invest, to get something from me.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like, I want to work with you, Abby. You don't like me. And that
so funny. He's like, yeah, I want to work with you because you don't like me.
Right.
Because you're not gonna just say whatever. Yes, I'll do whatever you want.
No.
And I was like, that is so funny.
It was this perfect, like, a Hallmark moment to me. I was like, I love this, like, let's work together because you don't like me. I don't like you. Like, we're going to be honest with each other. Like, I can trust you because of that. And then we're going to watch it turn into hopefully something really tender. But right now it's just hilarious.
Yeah. Right now, hilarious is all I need.
Yeah.
And and then when what's her name? Abby, when she was like, all right, goodbye, Mr. Kincaid. I don't do first names. I love that too.
Yeah.
That was funny. Because he's like, I don't do last names. You're Mick, you're Abby, I'm, Evan. That's it.
Yep. Yeah. I liked it. She was sassy. She was like confused, super confused by him. And I thought that was so fun. I love it. Okay.
Excited.
As great as his intro was to this episode and to the season, I thought this episode specifically belonged to two other characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah, Connor.
Uh-huh.
Oh man, that was awesome.
It was awesome.
I was like, where is this coming from? Like Hallmark talking about like, like good issues. I was like, this is like so great. I love that.
I know,
like
and
gender equality, pay gap. I'm like, who would have thought,
Exactly. This wage discrimination and gender equality in the courtroom. One, he finally gets his day in court. Like literally,
yeah,
to prove himself in court,
Mhm.
and he's brilliant at it.
Yeah. He did a great job making it personal.
Mhm.
And like when he was saying that stuff, I was like, this is so true because people always say that like about women, like women are better patients than men.
Mhm.
Like when they get sick, they're usually
Yeah,
women are just generally internally stronger,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
And you know, I used to with the PT lady at the high school that I went to, she was like, "Oh, when men have to get in the ice bath," she was like, it takes them so long. They complain, they whine, they inch. She's like, when the girls have to do it, they don't do all that. But for
Right.
the guy to do it, they just act like it's the end of the world. It's like, just get
Yes.
in and get over it, you know? And so women do have just some kind of internal, just
Yeah.
intense like strength, you
Yeah.
know, and it's just something that, you know,
Yeah.
I just think that God just gave women, and maybe they're not physically as strong, but they
Yeah.
have a intense, you know, strong nature.
Yeah. And I think that that's the beauty of gender equality, is that it's noticing the differences, but also like valuing what each brings to the table. You know,
Exactly.
if the man is bringing his brawn and his strength, and you know he should, that's valuable. But a woman here to bring um, her inner strength, and
Mm.
Connor's example was, you know, when a woman solves a problem, she doesn't just solve that problem. She
Yes.
solves 3 problems beyond it, you know,
I
like
love that.
thinks it through, and she's like, "How can we not do that again? You know, how can we work it this way?"
Mhm.
And that was so true. I mean, it's so true of all the
Yeah.
women I know, and
Yeah, exactly. I
just
felt
that,
the same way.
yeah,
Women really think through things, and
mhm,
like yeah, they think they, you know, they work smarter not harder because they think through things so
yeah,
well and
yeah,
so far beyond, like he was
yeah,
saying. Yeah.
yeah. And I think that's the point of the equality thing. It's not just to make everyone the same, but to
Yeah,
value what people bring to the table and the strengths that
exactly.
they have, and so we can all be stronger together. So, I mean, I thought he did such a great job at fighting this case and bringing up points, stating his case, you know, and the gender equality with that the women were being denied even like the forklift license,
Yeah.
driver's license, that, you
I
know,
was like, that so sounds like real life. You know what I mean? Like, okay, we're not going to hire women and we're not going to hire them and not let them, you know, get the forklift license so they can be as quote strong as men and be as
right,
effective. Like that's
right.
that's great.
No, he just did such a great job with that case, and it was really fun to see. That's what we've been wanting. If we're gonna
Yeah.
spend so much time with Connor as a lawyer, you know, his storyline as a
Hmm.
lawyer, show us him in court, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So,
Making great arguments. Yeah.
mhm. They totally did a great job with his storyline, and he just knocked it out of the park. I thought he was so cute with his paralegal,
Margaret.
Keller.
I
Yeah,
think her name's Margaret. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I thought so too.
He said something about being the shark. Was I a shark in there? And she said, I think more like a dolphin.
Yeah, that was funny. I like that.
Yeah. Where she
More of
sees
a
the soft
dolphin.
side of him though. So that was,
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
I could still go either way with them. I could definitely ship them and want them to
Yeah.
be romantic, but I could definitely see them as a strong platonic
Yeah.
friendship that
Friends,
just
coworkers, friends.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. I could see either way. I'm interested to see what's gonna
Yeah,
happen.
me too. I hope it's romantic just because that's
Yeah.
where my heart always I want them to be
Yeah. Yeah.
happily romantic, and but
hmm
yeah,
Yeah, that would
that
be
would be
good.
fun. So, yeah, okay, so that's who I first thought the star of the episode was Connor.
Yeah.
But really we can't not talk about Luke.
Yeah, we really can't.
Mhm.
Not with the all the scenes that he got to have
Yeah,
with Mick and
yeah,
yeah, I was like, wow, like this is like when it was the last scene, I was like, this is good. Like this is
yeah,
like intense and they're both like doing a good job like bringing in the emotion into this
yeah,
scene.
yeah.
Yeah.
They did, and, you know, all 3 episodes, Luke has interacted with a new O'Brien. Like
Oh, yeah.
first episode it was Kevin, the second episode here it was Bree, and
Mhm.
then now this third episode is
Yeah.
Mick, and so he's really kind of establishing himself in the
Mhm.
O'Brien world. But he and Mick though, they just had like great chemistry like right away. Just, and
Yeah.
maybe I shouldn't call it chemistry because obviously it's not a romantic thing, but I mean just
But still it was
like
a
a
chemistry.
yeah,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
camaraderie or an understanding maybe.
Mhm.
So he comes into the bridge to ask about a job, and right away is just super helpful with the fuse box and something else that
Yeah.
he fixed. And he's
Mhm.
like indispensable already uh,
Yeah.
to Mick. So Mick hires him and stuff. But then we finally get to hear more background on Luke's.
Yes. I was like, can you tell us what's this guy's deal?
What
Like
did
all this,
he do?
shrouded mystery of like, what did he do? Is he on drugs? What happened to him?
No, I know. So, I mean, he just like, first of all, he's an orphan now. I mean, like, I guess do you call an
Yeah.
adult an orphan? I don't know. I don't think so. But I mean, both of his parents have passed. They had a
Yeah.
really hard time bouncing back from that. He started to drink heavily. And then in pure Hallmark, rose-colored glasses, of course, what he gets sent to jail from or for was a
Yeah.
altercation he had while he was drunk doing a good deed. Like he like
Yeah, yeah. I
was
was like, oh yeah, that was very well said. Only in Hallmark fashion would he go to prison doing something good,
right.
and I was just like, of course. But I was like, it's fine, we're
No,
talking about how great women are. He's defending women. It's, good.
right. Totally
Everyone's
defending
defending women.
totally defending this waitress, from unwanted advances, I guess, at this bar.
Yeah.
So he's drunk, he punches some guy, he gets sent to prison for assault and battery because the guy gets hurt, like really hurt, like
Yeah.
on the back of his head, almost
Yeah.
dies. And he, now is an ex-con. And so he needs Mick to sign these papers to have an
Mhm.
ex-con work for him.
Yeah.
But I totally giggled a little bit. I was like, of course he's not a villain.
Yeah.
We've got to show his good character. He fell on hard times, but he's not a
Yeah.
villain. Like,
Yeah. We want to be able to have redemption, have it
yeah,
be believable, and have people want to root for this person, which is all in Hallmark fun. And
yes,
yes, is that what I want to see personally? Yes. Like if
yeah,
someone's a villain, like I'm very bad about writing off villains and just being like, I don't care about you. So they
right.
want us to care
They want us
and
to
to be
care.
invested. Yeah. And
Yeah,
to
they
see
do.
him,
Yeah,
redemption, which everyone loves redemption storyline. I
I
love
love
that.
it.
So I look forward to seeing that.
Me too. Me too. And I look forward to him and Mick having more scenes together.
Yeah.
Mick was so fatherly, so understanding, just like
He was.
I have ex-cons work for me on a construction site. Like,
Yeah.
just be honest with me. And,
Yeah.
okay, let's move on from that.
Yeah.
Let's see where it goes from here. And did he was Luke crying?
I saw Stephen Huzar a tear on his face, and
Did
I
he
saw
have
Treat Williams with a tear. I was like, these men are bringing the A game because they both got tears rolling down their face in this scene. And they really did a good job. And then I saw Stephen Huzar, he did a post just talking about how great it was to work with, legendary Treat Williams. And Treat Williams is very good at what he does. He is a very good patriarch. He's just so good at doing different kinds of scenes, and just different kinds of emotions. He just does it so well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they did a great job in that scene. And I loved how even in true Mick fashion, he got angry and he
Yes.
was like, no, tell me what it is. And he closed the door. And I was like, that's what Mick would do because he kind of has anger problems sometimes. And I appreciated that they, even in that moment that was
Yes.
about to be emotional, like they brought in his anger and then, and then Luke, kind of opened up and it's like, okay, this is, what happened to me and why everything went down like this.
Mhm.
So
He got to tell his full story. We got to hear a real good background story to this mysterious character who now we just want him to go thrive, because we compassion.
And We got answers, Carrie. We found out something.
So
It
happy.
wasn't just like some mysterious, like thing. Like we got answers. We got, stuff happened to his parents. He went to prison. Why he went to prison. We got
Right.
all the answers. And in past seasons, that hasn't really happened. So we have
No.
answers. I'm so glad to know.
I am so excited because these writers this season are actually telling us things. They're actually inviting us into a deeper part of the story, a breakup that's believable, a
Yeah.
backstory, a backstory that that you actually get to hear the details of, the third episode in. I mean, they are doing such a good job inviting me into these stories and to actually care about these characters because I know things.
Mm-hmm. Feels good to know things, know the who, what, when, where, whys of Chesapeake Shores.
Right. Right. It's just been so good. So yeah, okay, so those are the two storylines that I thought were so good this episode, Connor and Luke, and they were the stars to me. So there were a couple, I mean, like you said, there were a lot of other things that were going on. Any that you want to mention?
Oh, from last night. I did appreciate I thought that scene with Jay, I thought that was cute. It was kind of a brief, scene, but I thought that was sweet.
It was so sweet. Okay, describe it.
Okay, so Abby is, what did he call it? She's walking and texting, and then he's like, Abby, like, what's wrong? And he could tell like she's upset because she's, just been hung up on, just been told like she might not get this project. And Jay is just like, I just love how concerned he is. Like he's just like, she seems like upset and stressed.
Yeah.
He's so concerned. It's genuine. And he's just like, okay, let's just, count to 5 and like try to just, try to relax.
Yeah.
At first she's like 1, 2, 3. And then she's like 4,
Yeah.
5. So she kind of like takes a deep breath.
Yes.
And then, she's like, he's like, close your eyes. And she's like looking at him like, I'm not sure if I want to do that. Like, are you going to kiss me? Like, what's going to happen?
Right.
And so she skeptically closes her eyes. And then he just kind of takes her hands.
Mm-hmm.
And then I forgot what he said.
I mean, he just really calms her down, but I forgot too,
he held her hands and he said, picture, did you say picture like a,
he's like, what do you smell? What do you see? Like, he's just,
oh yeah, grounding. It's like a grounding exercise.
It is a grounding exercise.
My therapist would say, yeah.
It's a tried and true therapist, go to say, I am so anxious, but what is my reality right now?
Yes. Where am I? What can I?
Yeah. What can I see? What do I smell? Yeah. What do I hear? I'm kind of forgetting some other things, but just that. And he does that for her in such a kind way. And honestly, I think it's the first time that she feels like there could be more than
I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
I think that she really, she got to slow down for a moment, ground herself, open her eyes, see this man who's taking minutes to just, be with her and just like care about her. And that was like, and I think that that's what she felt in her heart when he walked away and she's smiling because she's like, wow, like he like really cares about me to like stop and like go through that and do that, for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like.
I thought that was nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, I thought that was a nice moment.
Juicebox Jay, I love that guy.
Call him Juicebox Jay.
Juicebox.
Because he was that one episode drinking a juice box.
He was. It stuck with me. So, okay, so just a quick mention of Bree. I mean, Bree and Jerry have another little kind of walk and talk scene where it comes out that she actually wrote about him in this book.
Yes.
So she
the infamous book.
Changed his name, wrote about him, and so they do have some deeper feelings there, I think, than just the nemesis.
Because then Abby said, "Oh, he was cute, wasn't he?"
Right.
That's why you seem kind of jazzed up.
So cute. So, and then Kevin, of course, comes in and has another great moment with a sibling, with Bree, and he like encourages her as a teacher.
Hmm.
Um, he's just great. He turns up at the right time. He's really
He's a
more,
good supporter.
yes, he's really more of the sweet, supportive, fatherly role than Mick ever has been
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
these siblings, but so sweet. Okay, one thing I thought was interesting, we can wrap up here in a little bit, but Megan, I
Oh,
thought was kind of cool, like kind of put more to her storyline where we see her interest in art, and she has this painting that she wants to get to the, find who painted it and all of this. And what I appreciated about her and Mick in this episode is that they have these scenes that look forward, and it's not always looking back,
yeah. Hmm. And all the
analyzing what
pain and
happened.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that's good. I mean, that's just one thing, little thing I wanted to mention, but
Yeah.
I'm glad if we're going to believe that they're moving forward with the actual relationship.
Exactly. And I like that, we're seeing them in positive situations.
Yeah,
Like he's calling her from the backyard and she's in
right.
the backyard. And, they're at this little shop together.
Yes.
They're eating dinner together. Like they're starting to show them like positively interact,
Yeah,
like you
yeah,
said. And it's nice to see.
yeah, yeah. So no Jess and David in this episode.
Yeah. Not in this one.
Mm-mm. I missed
Well,
them.
yeah, they only briefly mentioned their flowers, I think, maybe. And that was the only mention
Yeah,
of anything regarding to them, I think.
right. Well, I did miss them, but like I said about the pacing of this
Yeah.
season, it's like I almost didn't have time to realize that they weren't in the
Yeah, exactly. I actually didn't realize it till the end, and I was like, "Oh, we never saw Jess and David," because
right,
everything was just like moving and moving
right,
so quick.
right. Well, okay, so I did think that this held up to be a really great episode.
I think it did too. I was impressed by the episode, impressed with, the good issue that they were talking about,
Yeah,
the emotion and the realness of, Luke's, character story,
yeah,
the brightness that Evan's introduction, brought to Chesapeake Shores, and just everything. I
yeah.
thought it was well done.
Me too. Me too. And we're
Yeah,
so
I was so
nervous when we
impressed.
when we hear, someone say, "This is one of the best things I've ever done," or the best episodes, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, please, please be good." And it totally was. So,
Yeah.
hey,
Yes.
yay, Chesapeake
I'm
Shores,
glad.
too good.
Yes. Couple of good episodes. I'm
Yes.
just looking forward to where we go from here.
Yeah.
I think it's good. I think we're getting into good, good territory. So,
Mhm. I do too. And I appreciate that, they have us hooked, and
yeah.
but we're not like waiting each episode for something to happen. Like they have us hooked, and
Yeah.
they're giving us storylines. They're giving us
Yeah.
interactions and people and chemistry, and
Mhm.
man, it's good. It's all good for me. I'm
It's
really
really good.
yeah.
I'm just like, wow, like how is this like even like it just seems so different to me. Like
It does.
it seems really different. And it has been a long time since I've seen the last season since there was this really long break. So maybe that's kind of impacting it more. But it's like
Yeah.
from what I remember from like 2
Mhm.
years ago, like it just feels like really different and like it and good and just, I
Yeah.
think it paced really well and good
Yeah.
storylines and new blood, in the mix in
Yeah.
the casting. And
Yeah.
I'm like they did a good job, writing this and doing this.
And I'm so glad for okay, so you said you've seen this a long time ago, season 4. I recently watched it for the first
Yeah.
time this past
Okay.
summer, and it still feels like that. I mean,
Okay, that's
it that
good to
holds
know.
up.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it holds up whether you've seen it, you know, 2 summers ago, or
Yeah.
just caught up and binge watched all of the seasons.
Yeah. Okay,
It
well
that
good,
holds
that's good
up.
to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Well, you guys, yes, we want to know what you thought of episode 2 and episode 3 of Chesapeake Shore. So definitely leave a comment here on YouTube or a review on iTunes if you're watching there. We will be back, like we said, in 2 weeks for another Chesapeake chat. But in the meantime, be sure to subscribe and follow to the Hallmarkies podcast all over social media. We'd love to interact with you everywhere we are. So, hey, Anne, where can people find you on social media besides the Hallmarkies podcast?
Yes, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at awscott21. Both are the same.
Awesome.
What
Okay,
about you, Carrie?
yeah, definitely. Come over to Instagram and find me at Hallmark Comics. That's Hallmark_comics. And I don't know, I've been thinking of a comic series about Chesapeake Shores. I don't know. I'm kind of like thinking through one.
Oh,
See what I can do with Chesapeake.
that would be good. I would be interested to see what kind of comics you can come up with for
I know,
Chesapeake
we'll
Shore.
see. We'll see. I'm just enjoying the season right now. I mean,
Yeah.
so that's kind of fun. We'll put that on hold for a little bit. But thank you for joining us, everyone. We will see you next time on Chesapeake Chats. Bye.
Bye-bye.